When the Russian Navy headquarters decided to decommission the rusty Kuznetsov aircraft carrier, the world wondered, would this once feared maritime power, which once made Western fleets tremble in the North Atlantic, find its final dignity under the cranes of Chinese shipyards? The official statement in July 2025 read like an obituary. Admiral Kuznetsov, which had served for nearly 4 decades, faced the fate of being scrapped or sold. Andrei Kosygin, chairman of the board of directors of the United Shipbuilding Corporation, delivered a chilling conclusion: repairing it is no longer meaningful. This colossal vessel, a symbol of the Soviet Red Navy's final glory, now faces repair costs soaring to 120 billion rubles. More critically, the entire industrial ecosystem supporting its operation has collapsed. The supply chain from Ukraine's Nikolaev shipyard has been severed. The only facility capable of repairing the PD-50 floating dry dock has sunk to the seabed, and the aircraft carrier training system exists in name only. Meanwhile, at the Zaliv shipyard in Kirk, Crimea, the domestically produced 23,900 class amphibious assault ship, Ivan Rogov, which had been pinned with high hopes, continues to grow slowly amidst a forest of steel frames. Commercial satellite imagery reveals the harsh reality. 5 years after construction began, while the hull has taken shape, the flight deck remains unclosed. The island structure is scattered across the pier, and critical elevator openings lie exposed like unhealed wounds. According to internal assessments by the Russian Navy, even if costs are disregarded, the ship is at least 3 years away from commissioning. More concerning is the design itself. All elevators are crammed at the stern, leading to inefficient scheduling. The elongated island structure compresses aviation operation space by 30%, and the narrow bow struggles to ensure safe helicopter takeoffs and landings in the rough waters of the Black Sea. This predicament stems from historical discontinuity. Russia's desire for amphibious assault ships dates back to 2011, when, to address the supply chain disruption caused by the Black Sea shipyards transferred to Ukraine following the Soviet Union's dissolution, Russia and France signed a landmark contract to procure 3 Mistral-class amphibious ships. The French shipyard in Saint-Nazaire specifically modified its production line for this purpose, even installing cold-resistant equipment and Russian combat systems as per Russian requirements. By the time the lead ship, the Vladivostok, completed sea trials, sailors from the Pacific Fleet had begun learning French naval terminology. However, the 2014 Crimean crisis triggered Western sanctions, prompting the French government to ultimately terminate the contract and sell the completed warships to Egypt. The loss of the Mistral class marked a fatal turning point in Russia's naval modernization efforts. From then on, Russia was forced to launch its indigenous replacement project, the 23,900 class, but it became mired in difficulties due to a lack of design experience and critical subsystems. The Russia-Ukraine conflict further exacerbated the situation for the amphibious fleet. The Black Sea Fleet suffered heavy losses under sustained attacks from Ukrainian Navy Neptune anti-ship missiles and suicide drones, with nearly half of the Frogman-class landing ships destroyed, and the Novorossiysk-class dock landing ship sunk at its berth, leaving Russia's long-range deployment capabilities on the brink of collapse. It is against this backdrop that the export version of the Type 075E amphibious assault ship, developed by the China Shipbuilding and Ocean Engineering Design Institute, has emerged as an incredibly appealing option. Compared to Russia's domestically developed models, the 075E represents a comprehensive downgrade in capabilities. Although its displacement has been reduced from 40,000 tons in the domestic version to 30,000 tons, it maintains a full-length flight deck and 7 helicopter landing points through optimized design, with hangar capacity still capable of accommodating 18 Z-20 or Ka-31 class carrier-based aircraft. Its well deck can accommodate 4 Type 726 air cushion landing craft, or 30 main battle tanks, and the medical zone is equipped with 6 operating rooms. 900 Marines can be fully deployed within 72 hours. More importantly, it offers excellent cost effectiveness, with a unit price controlled at 4-5 billion United States dollars. Shanghai Hudong Zhonghua Shipyard can achieve delivery within 36 months using modular construction technology, whereas the Type 23,900 may take up to 10 years from construction to commissioning. For Russia, the Type 075E is not only an equipment replacement, but also a strategic shortcut to mitigate losses. Military analysts generally believe that Russia needs at least 4 amphibious assault ships to rebuild its 3-pronged deployment capability spanning the Black Sea, Mediterranean, and Pacific. If 2 075Es are procured, and combined with the modified Peter Morgunov landing ship, an effective deterrent could be established in the Pacific by 2028. Meanwhile, the resources freed up at the Kirk shipyard could be redirected to produce the urgently needed 22,350 class frigates. However, the gravitational pull of geopolitics outweighs military requirements. Three constraints bind Russia tightly in its predicament. The most pressing is the funding crisis. By 2025, 80% of Russia's military budget will be allocated to the army and strategic rocket forces, while the Navy's budget will be reduced to less than $6 billion. Even if the most basic configuration is chosen, the procurement costs for 2075E class ships would exhaust the Navy's 3-year equipment procurement budget. Unless a barter arrangement is adopted, such as exchanging the pumpjet propulsion technology of the Boreai class nuclear submarines or the data package of the Zircon hypersonic missiles, but the likelihood of such a transaction involving strategic bottom lines is negligible. Russian military expert Dmitry Borisenkov lamented in his column in the Izvestia newspaper, "There are few countries in the world that can afford amphibious assault ships, and even fewer willing to sell them to us." A deeper obstacle is the psychological gap. The reversal of roles from teacher to client is stinging Russia's national pride. 20 years ago, the Chinese Navy relied on Russian-made, modern, class destroyers to support its East China Sea defense line, with Su-27 Sk fighters forming the Air Force's mainstay. Now, having warships flying the St. Andrew's flag sail out of the Jiangnan shipyard represents a transformation that Andrei Kartapolov, chairman of the Defense Committee of the Russian State Duma, has termed a geopolitical surrender on a spiritual level. The fundamental issue lies in strategic obsession. The Kremlin has transformed the 23,900 class project into a spiritual totem of de-Westernization. Despite frequent design flaws and severe delays, Putin emphasized in his 2025 Navy Day decree that the fleet must be revitalized with domestically produced equipment. Political significance has completely overshadowed military rationality. Continuing the construction of the 23,900 class is crucial for the employment of over 10,000 workers at the Crimean shipyard, and for maintaining the narrative of the legitimacy of Russia's special military operation in eastern Ukraine. Ironically, Russia's hesitation is creating strategic opportunities for other nations. After procuring China's 071E dock landing ships and S-26T submarines, the Royal Thai Navy has identified the 075E as a key piece in controlling the Andaman Sea. Algeria, which has emerged as a new power in the Mediterranean thanks to its Chinese frigate fleet, urgently needs amphibious ships to support its counter-terrorism operations in the Sahel region. Saudi Arabia plans to use the 075E to carry Rainbow 4 drones to establish dominance in the Red Sea Persian Gulf region. A more realistic compromise might be to replicate the Egyptian model, with China constructing the hull and Russia integrating the weapon systems. The Kornet-Me, shipborne air defense system developed by Russia's Almaz Design Bureau for the 23,900 class has passed testing. If integrated with Chinese hulls, it could avoid the awkwardness of direct procurement, while maintaining the operation of Russia's military-industrial complex. However, such technological integration requires unprecedented mutual trust. When Chinese shipyards request access to combat system interfaces, will Russia be willing to reveal its final technical secrets? The deck of the Kuznetsov is covered in snow, and its last voyage was frozen in time amid the billowing black smoke off the Syrian coast in 2016. At the Kirk shipyard, the welds on the hull of the 23,900 class vessel have already begun to rust due to salt fog corrosion. These two scenes form a metaphor for the fate of the Russian Navy. One side is a proud funeral, the other is a crossroads of reality. Perhaps while the Algerian Navy commander stands at the helm of the 075E directing Mediterranean exercises, the Russian Black Sea Fleet headquarters is still poring over scenarios all night long on how to break through Ukrainian defenses with small missile boats. History has no what-ifs, but every Russian naval sentry patrolling Sevastopol harbor at night knows, when the 054P frigate built by China for Pakistan participates in joint military exercises in the Black Sea, the searchlight beam slicing through the night sky carries the weight of another parallel universe's choice.